Hey, this is Eric Davis with Let's Chop It Up. Listen, just wanted to come on real quick. I had a thought, and I was thinking on some things and probably been thinking on it every now and then. The thought comes across my mind. How do we deal with people that we sometimes don't really care for? Listen, we're going to be honest about this thing. We're going to talk about this thing. We're going to chop it up. How do we deal with certain people who really may not be our cup of tea? I think we have to be mindful of the fact that everybody is not going to be your number one cat, the dude you chop it up with all the time, but we still have to be respectful. I was taught as a young boy, treat people the way you want to be treated, but you don't let nobody run over you. All right? You don't let nobody talk crazy to you. We're going to talk this thing out for real. All right? Some people in our lives that are there to continue to make sure that you are doing self-examination. You're not going to always win these little battles in your mind and how you deal with certain situations, but you ought to learn from those. All right, we want to learn from those. So how do we deal with people? First of all, you have to pray. Pray about it. I know some people, man, I don't want to pray. Sometimes I just want to get them, but no, sometimes you just got to pray on these things and make sure that you're doing a self-examination, because what can happen is we can be dealing with something and that person may push that button, may set you off in whatever way, and next thing you know, now it has gone to a whole nother level. So we have to be mindful of who we deal with. Now, sometimes we're put in situations where you have to deal with people, all right? And since we have to deal with people, these certain individuals, there's no way around it. We have to deal with these certain individuals. You have to ask God how to deal with these individuals. All right, so you need to think on how to deal with these individuals. All right, you make sure that you say what you need to say, mean what you mean when you say it, and be done with it. And you don't have to be nasty or negative about it. All right, but sometimes those people look to get a rise out of you. Sometimes they can't help but show their nastiness. All right. So you have to combat that nastiness. Not nasty for nasty, but sometimes you have to be stern in your delivery. All right, fellas, we chopping it up now. Sometimes you have to be stern in your delivery. Say what you got to say so they know you mean what you say and the intent in which you say it. All right, everything is not going to be roses and everything's not going to be all great every day, because some days you're going to have to deal with these situations, and how you handle these situations, all right, is important, all right, because you don't want to turn someone off who potentially will need you, all right. Listen, I found myself in those situations. People who I've helped, who I've sat and coached and counseled and talked to, sometimes people forget, and they do, all right. It's not so much that what you're doing for them, is that you've taken time, because you're the person of character and you're a person of integrity and you're a person who loves people. All right, I'm one of those. I love people. All right, I love helping people. If I got to just sit and listen, I'll sit and listen. All right, if I have nothing to say, you just need an ear, I'm one of those people. All right, sometimes people will take your kindness for weakness. All right, so that deals with a whole nother bag of emotions, because if you're like me, you take my kindness for weakness. Well, now you just put me into a space where you don't want me to be. All right, so now I've got to pray about this situation. If I get to that point first, let's be honest, because we don't always go straight to prayer. All right, so a lot of times, because we can be dealing with situations, brothers, we can be dealing with a lot of things, and people catch you off guard with certain things, and now you've reacted out of character. All right, so, but a lot of that is learning who you're dealing with, knowing the people you're dealing with. All right, something you got to keep your guard up. Some people you got to keep your guard up. All right, keep your guard up. All right, you need to have people you can talk to, a release valve. All right, you got to have somebody that can kind of help you come down off of these situations. All right, those are the things that we need. That's that brotherhood that we're talking about. Prayer is always good, but sometimes you need some people you can talk to, vent to, and get it out of your system. All right, everything does not cater a response. Sometimes you can kill people with kindness, but everything does not cater a response, because you don't want to feed into that negativity. But once again, you let your ground be known. All right. You have healthy boundaries. The brother was talking about healthy boundaries on the other day. I thank you, Bert. You got to have healthy boundaries. All right. You got to know who you can deal with, how far you can go with them. All right. And you got to have a point where, okay, we've come to this end of this conversation. All right. This is where we're going to cut it off. We're going to move on. All right. You have to have boundaries even with brothers, because everyone is not for you. All right. And that's what you need to understand. Everybody's not for you. I don't care what they say. They'll show you. Something my pastor helped me understand years ago. You don't have to say anything. People will tell you who they are. Just look, just watch and listen. They will tell you who they are. All right. If somebody shows you who they are, you better believe them. All right. Don't get caught up in wordplay. When they show you who they are, let's go ahead and believe them so we know how to handle each other. All right. This is very important. So I want you to think on those things, man. Follow me on all social media platforms. Go ahead on the QR code. You can pull up all social media platforms. Reach out. You can go to the Gmail. Let's chop it up. Eric Davis Gmail. Let's go to all social media platforms. We appreciate you. We love you. We have a whole lot coming up. We've got a lot in store. Appreciate you being supportive. I appreciate everybody that's going on and listening. I appreciate you, man. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to chop it up real good. Real men seeking real results. All right. We're having real conversations. Till the next time, have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.